Hello, it's great to see you here again. My name is Lucas and we'll talk about Marvel Future Fight. And before start, I'm gonna ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And yeah, English is not my native language and I know I do have an accent. So, I want to talk a little bit about uniforms because, two of the main questions I get all the time whenever I'm live streaming are when is the next uniform sale? And then it's usually followed by which uniforms should I buy. So here I'm gonna bring a list primarily aimed to the beginners, but that doesn't mean that veterans cannot benefit from it. And I'm gonna cover some of the uniforms based on some categories that I created myself, but I think it's gonna be useful and beneficial to everybody. One of the things I want to make clear is that I'm not gonna cover Black Order uniforms, pretty much because if you rank it up a Black Order character, buy the uniform. It's the least you can do. So that includes Thanos and all the Black Order that has uniforms from Infinity War so far. And actually you're gonna see a lot of Infinity War uniforms here. And the Black Panther pack. So if you haven't done so, if you plan to use Black Panther, if you plan to put him on tier 3, I think it's a must buy. Okay, my first piece of advice then would be, and I'm gonna leave that up here and during the whole video so you can never ever forget again, never purchase uniforms that are not on sale. That is very, very important. Those people that are new to this game, sometimes we get eager to get a uniform for a character that we really like, but I can assure you that we have at least once a month uniform sale. If it's not once a month, it's every 4 or 5 weeks. So you might as well just wait it until the next sale and buy that uniform. The difference is 40% on a regular sale, 50% less in a Black Friday sale that happens once a year. So it is a huge difference. So I would ask you to wait, hold a little bit and wait. Okay, with that being said, I want to cover my first category here. That's gonna be from trash to luxury. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense in English, or at least I think so, but in my native language it actually does. Would be something like from lixo to luxo. So that would be more sound, more catchy. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about some of the uniforms that we have here and why I'm suggesting them. Most importantly, and reminding again, I'm not going to cover all uniforms. And yes, there are a lot of good uniforms that are not included here. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that I think that are most beneficial to the people who are starting the game. So first uniform I want to cover, and there's no way to run away from that, it's Captain America. So Captain America, it's the first tier 3 that we had on this game. Unfortunately, I haven't ranked up mine, but I know its value and it's very important. So let me try to get Captain. So I switch languages and things are all different here. So let's see if by recommended uniforms it doesn't help much. Okay, so rank, name order. I think there would be, no, there won't be. I don't know how I'm gonna rank this. Anyway, okay. So let's try to find Captain America here and we can talk a little bit about it. So that's Captain America. So Captain America has a lot of uniforms and some of them are pretty good, especially the last two. They're pretty good. The one that everybody was expecting him to become a Hydra agent and he did not, and this one for Infinity War. But if you don't have an uniform, this is the uniform you should buy. Okay, why is that? This uniform is very important, not only to it gives an extra immunity to all damage to the one he already had, so he gets 2 immunity to all damage, but also improves his DPS a lot. So this is a must-buy uniform for Captain America, even if you don't plan to put him on tier 3 anytime soon. It completely changed the character, it completely brings the character into the game, so it is a must-buy if you have or want to have Captain America. So next one on this list is actually Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel is a brand new uniform that was released in the last update. And does exactly the same thing, completely change the character. I have one comment regarding this, because I really like that Captain America and Captain Marvel in all previous instances was had that immunity that lasted a lot, especially if she had the uniform, and so she was, nearly untouchable, but she wasn't much of a damage dealer. Now she is the damage dealer in this game, but she can die very easily. So it kind of exchange, it's worth it, totally worth it. You should buy it if you plan to, use Captain Marvel. But just be reminded that you're gonna have that downside. But completely change the character. The character becomes usable because previously we had a character that could not die but didn't do any damage. Now we have a character that can pretty much destroy all her enemies, but can die pretty quickly. So it's just a matter of, your play style, but it's definitely a must buy. Okay, next one here we have is Spider-Man. So let me get Spider-Man, and that's Infinity War Spider-Man. One of the few uniforms I actually don't have, and the reason why I don't have is that I'm waiting for Spider-Man was going to be appearing in 2 instances at least for, the next Avengers movie, and as well his own movie. And I'm pretty sure he's going to get a new uniform. So I'm not going to rank up this uniform just to get a new one. But this uniform is amazing. So this uniform, besides increasing his dodge and doing everything that he does here, all attacks and everything, it becomes nearly untouchable. So it has 4 iframes from 5 of his skills. I'm not counting here tier 3. And he is pretty much, one of the kings in the timeline battle. Forward bosses, it is a good uniform. It's not a great uniform, but you definitely if you like Spidey, if you plan to rank him, you definitely should buy it. Okay, let's move on. Next on the list we have Iron Man Infinity War, and that's the same thing. Iron Man was a terrible character. They did a huge work in the character, and it's actually now pretty good even without the uniform. But with this uniform, he becomes great. His DPS increases a lot. He gets an armor and actually a shield, so that regenerates up somehow. I don't think that we have ever other character that does that in the game, at least for the time I'm recording this video. But this is really good. It gives him super armor, increases his defense, improves his abilities. So it's definitely a must buy if you're a fan of Tony Stark, and you can definitely kill world bosses within and do a lot of other stuff. Okay, next one on the list is Hulk. Oh, that's my accent again. So that's Hulk Thor Ragnarok. Hulk's pretty much useless, with any other uniform or without any uniform whatsoever. With this uniform, he becomes usable. That's great for him. If you get up, all the way to Mythic, you'll be able to get a comic card, a premium comic. No, you're gonna get a CDP. Yeah, you're gonna get a CDP. So you're gonna get a CDP. It's not one of the greatest CDPs, but it is one CDP. You don't have to pay to unlock that legendary battle. Brings the character to the game. Is definitely a must buy. My only concern or remark would be that I would like him to have complete iframes. It has 3 partial iframes on his skills. That doesn't help much. They are either iframe in the beginning or the end of the skill, and he becomes susceptible to damage when we do that. We can basically try to use invincibility, 5-second invincibility, to refrain that, but that's, you're giving away too much DPS. So I hope that he gets a new uniform soon. But if you like Hulk, if you plan to use Hulk, and if you want that CTP, it's definitely a must buy. Okay, following up the list, we have Hyperion Classic, and Hyperion was a bit of surprise. It comes 2 updates ago. Hyperion was, I believe, the terrible character in this game. Was one of the most, useless characters, and was a VIP character. It was he worked. Now he's a good character with a uniform. It become even better. It doesn't change much the way it works, but it changes one of the skills that you can actually aim where it's gonna land. Well, he has a great leadership. It's not related to his uniform, but he has a great leadership. So Hyperion, if you like it, get this uniform. Okay, and then we have why I haven't fixed this. I thought I had fixed this. Okay, so let me do this. We're gonna fix live. We have Punisher Marvel Legacy. Punisher is another great character, and I'm hoping that he gets his level 70 anytime soon. So an odd fact is that Punisher actually get his uniform before War Machine, and they are pretty much similar in a lot of ways. So this is the War Machine armor. It's Punisher using the War Machine armor, pretty much. You know, and even the skill rotation is exactly the same when you use War Machine with his newest armor. So they're not the same skills, but it's basically the same. So they have similar leaderships. What I can say, if you love Punisher, this is the uniform you should buy. My only remark is that Punisher hasn't unlocked his level 70 yet, which is kind of a shame because I really would like to use him in world bosses at higher levels and stuff like that. Okay, so continuing the list, we have War Machine. So War Machine was released after, but exactly, you know, the owner of this armor. Like I said, you know, it is a great uniform, improves his DPS a lot. Just like Punisher's, but increases even better for him. Changes all of his skills. He has exactly a similar rotation because he has an arm, a barrier with skill number 3. It has iframes on 4 or 5. It makes him usable. It makes him a killer of world bosses. You know, it's definitely, you know, good character. It's worth buying this uniform. That's all I can say for now. Then we have one of the newest additions as well, which is Miles Morales with his Into the Spider-Verse uniform. Well, a lot of people love Miles Morales, but he was pretty much lame in the game, and now he's actually, you know, playable. You're still gonna struggle with him because he's still gonna be vulnerable at some times, but you can definitely do world bosses with him right now. I know you can enjoy his tier 2 passive, and you can passive, should I say? Well, write in comments if you should say passive or passive. And you know, changes all his skills, increases his DPS a lot. This increased light damage actually doesn't do much for him, but you know, all the changes that he's got, he becomes pretty good. So you can do, you know, some of world bosses at higher levels with Miles Morales. You just have to pay attention not to die. Okay, continuing the list, we have Ronan. Ronan is, you know, one of the oldest characters in this game, and I actually loved his ununiformed look. And I wish there was a way that we could have a uniform and have the looks of the other. I can understand limitations on that, but you know, I still would like that. Okay, so this changes a lot of things. He gets a heal on his 5th skill, increases the damage he does in superhero types, so it makes him usable for timeline battle. His buff on tier 2 was corrected, so he only affects himself right now. One of them, you know, because the other still affects everybody. The ignore dodge still affects everybody. Changes a lot of his skill. His DPS increases. Will not make him a, you know, meta character, but it will make him usable. You know, you'll kill some world bosses with him. We'll have some fun with him. So it's definitely, you know, worth buying. If you like Ronan, this is one uniform for you. It makes great for characters. A character that it's easy to farm. You can farm in Dimension Rift, so why not, right? Okay, next one is Satana. Satana is one of my favorite characters in this game as well. Let's try to find Satana. I have this on Mythic. You can see that most of the uniforms I'm covering here, I have it on Mythic. A few I don't have at all, and some of them I'm still upgrading, but that doesn't mean that I don't know the uniforms. Okay, so Satana's uniforms completely change her. You know, brings her to the game, increases some of her abilities, makes her heal even better. So actually brings Satana to the game. It's fantastic. Improves her leadership a lot. So she becomes the best leadership for fire-based characters in this game. So only for that, it's definitely gonna. And you can see I have another character that's specifically for leadership. But since this changed the character, seems to bring her to the game, and you can actually solo her and use her in Alliance Battle Extreme if you want to, and some other modes. You definitely can with this uniform. So, and it looks cool as hell. Haha. Okay. Winter Soldier. Okay, Winter Soldier, I believe that everybody agrees that this is the most changing uniform in the game. It takes a character that is completely useless and bring him to the game and make him one of the world boss ultimate killers that we have on this game. You know, even if you don't want to invest in him, let him on level 60 and not put euros or upgrade his uniform, it's still a great uniform. So you definitely should buy it. I got my medic. I think you got a reward from that. I can't remember which one it was, but it's definitely worth buying. You know, you're gonna be happy with it. So put a CDP of energy, get his uniform, and Bucky is gonna be a boss killer. Then we have Star-Lord. Star-Lord have a couple uniforms as well. Actually has 3 uniforms again, I believe, in this game. His latest one is really good because it improves his leadership. The previous one already did that, but gives him 4 iframes. You know, if you like to invest, you could. You know, this is one of the things that I plan to do in this game. I haven't done it yet, but you know, I would like to have a top tier Star-Lord because he can definitely do world bosses. I use him in leadership for Gambit and some other characters, sometimes for Sharon Rogers and so. Sometimes they die. You know, I'm not the greatest of players, so they die. And Star-Lord is able to finish the bosses with 1 or 2 bars left, which is actually great. So only for that reason, it's worth buying. It's a great uniform. Definitely will be happy about it. And then we have Thor, Avengers, Infinity War. This is actually a uniform I purchased it, but I never rank it up, just because I have way too many uniforms to rank up. Let me try to find it one here somewhere. Where's that? Thor. Here you are. You're an heroic. So Thor has 4 uniforms. The last two are great. I had a separate video in Brazilian Portuguese where it compares the 2 uniforms when this uniform was released. We haven't had level 70 yet, but the video is still valid. And the comparison is still valid. But one of the great things about this uniform is actually, you know, bring Thor into the end game. You know, I know, pun intended. So it brings into the end game, brings in, you know, increases his DPS a lot, increases his survivability. If you plan to, you know, get him to tier 3, this uniform is definitely a must buy. So that's Thor. So this category here, from all these characters I mentioned, are actually characters that change a lot. You know, they become a way better characters just by purchasing these uniforms. Most of them, if not all of them, are useless without their uniforms, and with the uniforms they not only are brought into the game, but they can accomplish great things. Alright, so now I'm gonna go to my second category, which is improved potential. So this category I'm including uniforms and characters that were already pretty good without them, but with their uniforms they become uber better. So way better in a way that, you know, it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth buying. So even, you know, if you already have the character, and obviously you could use them without the uniform, but with the uniform they become great. So the first one is Agent Venom. So actually it's Agent Anti-Venom. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Agent Venom, Agent Anti-Venom. And I hope to find him anytime soon. I'm always lost with the uniform, so there it is. So one of the great things about this uniform is that if you have Agent Venom and you don't plan to put him on tier 2, you're gonna get 2 heals. So you're gonna get an extra heal, and I believe in skill 1. So only for that it is worth buying already. So especially if you're not a VIP player and, you know, you want to use him, so this is definitely worth buying. Changes a lot of his skills, brings his DPS up, like I said, you know, improves his heal and gives him another heal. So only for that it is worth buying. Okay, next one on the list is actually one of my favorites as well, which is Archangel. Let me see, Archangel, I have a legendary yet, I guess. Yes. So Archangel, Angel works perfectly without his uniform, but with his uniform he's become the ultimate Archangel. So the main change here, and actually the only thing that matters here, is like his number 3 skill. There's actually changes from the damage. It accumulates damage instead of the damage it receives from the damage it deals. So pretty much, if you get him all the way DPS and all the way offensive, you're gonna get a great character with a great potential. He continues with his iframes. He gets his points on damage, but honestly, points on damage against ward bosses doesn't make much difference, since they are immune to anything that is bleeding type related. But anyway, even though it's a good uniform because of the change on his tier 3, not his tier 3, his skill number 3. Oh my god, I thought it would be easier. Okay, I'm struggling, I'm trying to talk in a different language. Alright, so okay, let's see. We have Cable. Cable is the next one. Where are you, Cable? And I think I got you on Medic. So Cable, exactly the same thing that it does with Archangel. It changed his skill number 3. And actually, the biggest change here is not even the damage it accumulates, but the heal is now given at the beginning of the skill, the moment you press the button, and not at the end of the animation as it is without his uniform. This makes a huge difference when you're fighting ward bosses, because you can hit his number 3 skill and then change to another skill and be happy about it. So usually you can go 3 to 5 or 3 to 2, 3 to 4. It's up to you. 3 to 5 is the most used one. So it is very positive that you can do something like that. Increases his DPS a lot as well. Increases his chain hit, so it's like he gets a mini CTP of energy on himself, and it stacks with the CTP of energy, which is really great. Okay, next one is Crystalis, or Crystal. I should correct this here, because in Portuguese her name is different, and Google Translator didn't help me out. So okay. So this is Crystal. I can tell you a funny story about her name in Portuguese later on. I don't know if you're interested. Okay, so Crystal had 2 uniforms. I had her 2 uniforms. The last one on Mythic and this one on Legendary that I plan to put on Mythic. But this one is actually amazing. It changes all of her skills. It actually improves her survivability a lot. Gives energy outcome on her 5th skill instead of a physical outcome, and that is a huge difference when we're talking about a character that does elemental damage, which are pretty much energy based. So this makes a difference for her. It's definitely you can do Ebony Maul with ease with her in this uniform, even if it's not rank up. Okay, we have Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has a couple uniforms, but if you don't have any, buy the latest uniform. The 2 are very similar, but the heal and the DPS output on the latest one is great, is better, and the previous ones it has a little more survivability because the A-frame on skill number 4. But I would get the latest one. It is more expensive, of course, but it has a better prerequisite uniforms as well. So, and hopefully he's gonna get a tier 3 in time soon. So. Way to go, Doctor. Then we have Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch already was amazing without a uniform. With this uniform, increases her mind damage, decreases the damage that she receives because she already had a decrease for energy damage, and now she has a decrease for physical damage as well. Changes her skill, so she loses her summons, but she gets that being on skill number 3, that is a lot of fun. So that continuous being that you can just move around the bosses and start fighting it. If you use her, I believe most of you do, get this uniform. You must do. Okay, then we have Inferno. Inferno is another character that I'm hoping that gets his level 70 anytime soon. Well, this uniform adds a heal to himself and improves some of his skills. He was already good, he becomes amazing. Simple as that. When he gets level 70 and unlocked, I think that he will be one of the Ebony Maul's main killers as well. Loki, Thor Ragnarok. Loki has some other uniforms, I know everybody who's in old school has the She-Lock uniform, but nowadays, this is the only uniform that is worth buying. Not only because you get a premium card if you get it to Mythic, but the main difference in this uniform, if you compare it to any other ones or his basic version, is that his clones are now walk with him. In the previous versions, whenever you saw the clones, they were stationary. And, in some of the versions they did physical damage, I don't know why. Now they do, I believe, frost or ice damage, and they move around the look. There's some controversy regarding that, and I would like your feedback on that, but, it is a huge improvement, and if you get to Mythic, you're going to get a premium card. You don't have to pay anything else for it, so, yeah. And he has level 70 already. Okay, Luna Snow. Luna Snow, here with me. Okay, Andromeda suit. I hope I'm saying this right. I don't know if it's Andromeda, but I think it's Andromeda suit. This uniform, when it was released, caused some stir, but now it is a great uniform since they changed skill number 4, and now it applies her seduction at the beginning of the skill. Well, it's a must buy. She's one of the top tier 3 characters in the game. No, only that is enough. Get it. Then we have Quicksilver. So let's talk about Quicksilver. Quicksilver is a character that works without the uniform, but with the uniform becomes even greater. He does kind of the same thing that, Archangel and Cable's uniform does. He has that heal and third skill already had, but now it has the accumulate damage. It is great. It is great. You won't regret. Minerva. Minerva is one of the newest uniforms, and Minerva works without the uniform, but it becomes a completely different character with the uniform, just like Shuri, just like some other characters. So if you like Minerva, she is doing 3 Alliance Battle Extreme at this time for 3 days, so it's definitely worth getting it. It is a great uniform, look cool as hell. You should get it. And it has a mini CTP of energy on it as well. So you can actually combo with the actual CTP of energy and become killer. So what it was, Nick Fury. This is actually one of the few uniforms I haven't bought it yet. So it is a great uniform, although I prefer his basic look. I would rather, prefer that Netmarble would have his basic version as his Captain Marvel movie version, and then have this as a uniform, because it looks way cooler. Samuel Jackson older with the eye patch. That's what we all want, right? The main reason here is improve his Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and his airstrike, so his bonuses become even better. And so you're going to be using him, you're going to get tier 2 him to use against the world bosses, so an extra plus is never too much. Okay, Sharon Rogers. Sharon Rogers should be the first character to get into tier 2 and the first character to get into tier 3 in this game. So Sharon Rogers is here. She had 2 uniforms, and well, yeah, her previous uniform gave her a little more mobility, but this one, wow, what a damage increase. She becomes stationary a lot, and that's my only remark about it. But it is a great uniform. It has a mix of physical and energy attacks. Decreases the damage she receives and increases chain hit. So it has a mini CTP of energy as well. It's Sharon Rogers. You should buy it. You should get it to Mythic. Simple as that. Continuing on, we have Shuri Black Panther. So let's talk about Shuri. Shuri is another character that, why Netmarble? Why you not unlock level 70 for all characters? It's just a table progression. You don't have to do anything in the game. I understand that you are going slower with the tier 3 like you did with the tier 2. But, why can I not get my Shuri into level 70? I don't understand at all. I'm really pissed about it. Okay, so makes her a completely different character. Not that she was bad before, but it is a different playability. So she becomes from a witch to actually a warrior. Improves her passive, tier 2 passive as well. Give her super armor. It's definitely must buy. You know, I'm just waiting her level 70 to release to put the CTP on energy on her and start, you know, killing Proxima with her as a solo character. Or as a main damage dealer character. You got what I said. Okay, then we have Wolverine. Yeah, I know, we already know there's a new Wolverine uniform and it's gonna be released and it's the X-Force uniform, but we don't have that one yet. So if you have to get one of these uniforms, I like both of the uniforms. I actually prefer the latest one, but if I would advise somebody to get this one. For the simple reason is that it gives 15% damage decrease to Wolverine, so you get a character that has one of the biggest HP hit points in the game. It has an awesome heal, and you're decreasing the damage he receives. So that's pretty much it. You know, of course, you know, if you don't have him ranked up yet, I would wait. I would wait and see how his new uniform is about. I'm a big Logan fan, you know, and I'm gonna work to rank him up as soon as I can when his level 70 and tier 3, you know, are released. And I have his both uniform on Mythic with both prerequisites as well. So his newest uniform I have all prerequisites on Mythic. So I really like him. And gives a little more DPS, but I would advise to get the Age of Apocalypse 1. And last but not least, we have X-23. So X-23, as all of the Logan family, it's a character I really like. I confess I don't like the, you know, the looks of this uniform. I rather use his hair basic version. But, you know, this uniform does for hair two things. One of them increases all the buffs by 20%, and dodge rate by 20%, improves 25% of physical damage. I think that these changes should actually be a rework of the character, and not a uniform buff. But that's a matter for another video entirely. So she needs this uniform to shine. She is a great character. She doesn't do as much damage as Wolverine, but she's definitely, you know, a character that if you like Laura, get Laura. One of the concerns I have is about this skill as well, skill number 3, that decreases the damage by 1500. I don't know why this is not a percentage, but a fixed number. So when target ward bosses, and especially when in the ultimate form, you know, the defenses go up absurdly. So decreasing 1500 instead of a percentage, it's kind of no sense. Make this useless. But even though, you know, I like her, get her uniform, removes elasticity, buy it. Alright. Now let's go to the last category. I know this video is very long, but it has to be very long because I'm advising, you know, you players to get uniforms. I know there's a lot of uniforms. I know I'm not covering all the uniforms, and all there are uniforms that are way much better. Not way much better, but they are good as well, but I'm not covering here. So my last category here, if you made your way through here, are the increased leadership or passive and change characteristics. There are a lot more characters that could fall into this category, but these are the ones that are considered relevant. So the first one we have here is Cyclops New Marvel. The main reason that we have this character here, where are you, Cyclops? Okay, is because it is not a villain like the previous uniform. The previous uniform is cool, and I'm going to talk about that. But it improves his passive on leadership, so it becomes him a more effective leader. So it's definitely, you know, you can use either him as a leader or as support. You know, it has that spinning attack that is not an iframe. I don't know why, but it still looks cool as hell. So it's definitely a good uniform. Next one on the list we have Medusa. So Medusa is a character that works without her uniform. I could even include her in the other category, but her leadership goes way up with these uniforms, so that's the main reason you should get it. It changed a lot of her skills. She gets a lot of iframes. She barely cannot die if you play her correctly and have, you know, cooldown to max. But, you know, the main reason it is, you know, her leadership. Then we have She-Hulk. She-Hulk has two uniforms. The other one was great, but the Fantastic Four is amazing. She can actually solo some of the things and gives guard break immunity as there was before. It decreases it, increases her defenses, and improves her leadership. So she gets all the way to 60% leadership. It's a must buy. Get it, be happy, and she can benefit. She and Crystal, it's important to mention because I forget when I cover Crystal, is that with this uniform she benefits from the buffs that Reed Richards and Ben Green provide because they are members of the Fantastic Four with this uniform. With the other uniforms they are not, but with this uniform they are. So both She-Hulk and Crystal can benefit from the buffs given by the Thing and Mr. Fantastic. Alright, then we have Venom, Anti-Venom. So now I'm talking about the correct Venom. So the main reason you want to get this uniform, you don't have to rank up, you don't have to do anything. This character is still pretty much Shadowlands character with this uniform. But it's going to be one of the best characters to use in World Boss Ultimate as an ally. So it's going to help Gambit to survive, it's going to help Captain Marvel to survive, it's going to help Sharon Rogers to survive. Because, you know, it will attack the boss, it will put his little symbiont slimes on the floor, and just have to go through them and, you know, be healed. One important thing to mention when you're using characters like Gambit is that if you get his heal pull, whatever you want to call that, and you're in knife frame, you're actually going to get it, but not going to benefit from the heal. So make sure that whenever you step on it or stomp on it, you're not in a knife frame. But you know, only for that this character is worth buying. And then we have Wasp, that is reading us Vespa here. I gotta translate again. So Wasp and Ant-Man. Oh my. And if you're curious why the names are so weird here, it's because I just translated it for a file that I have in my native language, which is Brazilian Portuguese. Okay, so Ant-Man and Wasp. Wasp from Ant-Man and the Wasp. And the main reason that you have that is because she gives 10% of HP. So she is used mainly, you know, as a support in timeline battle, and, you know, 10% HP in timeline battle. It is great. Definitely, it is great. So where are you, Wasp? Why I cannot find you? Let me try to get her basic version. Okay, so it looks way cooler than her previous uniform. It improves 10% of HP to all allies. And one thing, you know, that bubble that she does, that she cannot take damage, now moves with her. So if you're using her for Shadowlands, this uniform helps a lot as well. So, but the main reason is timeline battle. I won't change. I won't lie. The two uniforms I have last is change characteristics. I know we have other uniforms like, you know, She-Lucky that change characters, or Lady Lucky that change the character. But I want to talk about Cyclops, Age of Apocalypse, and Beast, Age of Apocalypse. So Cyclops, where are you, Cyclops again? Okay, turns him into a villain. Helps a lot in Alliance Battle Extreme and Shadowlands. And looks cool, you know, you have that long hair Cyclops monocle, looks cool. And Beast, you know, Beast not only changes type to villain, but also improves his leadership, so it's definitely a worth buy. So I know I haven't covered all the uniforms, but these are the most important ones, otherwise we would get a way much longer video than 40-minute video, which is a lot longer for my standards. I hope you like what I have brought here, and I hope you understand most of the things I said. I want to thank again for my big friend Starco for giving me some tips to talk a little slower when talking in English, because I tend to talk a little too fast. But that's it. You know, if you're not, if you're an English spoken person, I hope you like the content I'm bringing here and become a subscriber to my channel. See you next time.